Hey, YouTube. Well, I'm going to talk about is it Rotondo? Rotondo. Michael Rotondo. All right, so the airways are full of Michael Rotondo today. This is a guy in upstate New York. He's 30 years old, and his parents had to take him to court to get him out of the house. They won the court. I guess although they don't make it totally clear, the judge is forcing him to leave. Some people say immediately. Anyway, he was asking for a 6 months extension or for 6 months to get out. And the judge is not going for that. The parents have won. I guess you could call it a lawsuit. They don't want any money from him. They just want him to get out. Well, I was going to just come on here and talk about Michael like a dog, talking about it. People should get out, like most people think. I left the house at 19, but my house was not a friendly environment, and I could not wait to leave. Let us pray that our family members never run across this video. As far as I know, they don't watch me. Anyway, I could not wait to leave. I had been praying about leaving. And I don't know why it even took me to 19. I should have been out there at 17 and a half. Anyway, so most people leave. But something kind of disturbed me about all the reports I saw today. For one thing, they're treating this kid like he's a normal guy. Now, after hearing Michael talk, you guys can see him on the news. I'm sure he'll be on all day, all over YouTube. It's very obvious this man has got some mental issues. In other words, he's not just a regular guy. They're calling him they're trying to mix his story with the story of millennials staying home longer, not being able to make it on their own and so forth, rising cost of housing and all that. And I don't see that as being the problem at all. The problem is this man is not capable of living on his own. Now, apparently, he was married or with the woman at some point and did live outside of the house 8 years before. So that would make him about 22. So he did leave. The relationship fell apart. He lost custody of his son. Ended up back at home. More than likely, the woman who he was involved with was what was keeping things secure. I don't see this man as being able to be on his own. It's frightening that they said, his parents said he should sell his stereo and sell his guns. A person like this with obvious mental, I don't want to say the right words. It's so easy to offend these days. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. I can't diagnose this man. But they need to be figuring out where he can go because he's not capable. He's not ready to be on his own. I don't give a damn if he's 30. This opinion of mine is not going to be popular. And then these parents have every right to want him out of the house at 30 years old. So I'm not siding against them by any means. But this is not just a regular millennial story. This is a guy who's got mental issues. They dressed him up in a suit, but he's got hair all down. He looks like, caveman. And the way he talks, he can't even finish his. Don't you judge me. I know I struggle with finishing sentences myself. I just have a way to mix them all together. He can't even mix them together. He's not making any sense at all. So the man needs to be like in probably a group home or somewhere where other people live, where they split the rent, things like that. If the parents are just thinking he's just a regular guy, a millennial that needs failure to launch, I think they're wrong. And maybe they have some denial there that their son is mentally ill. Because my observation, he is. I know guys like this. One of the places that I volunteer, a lot of the guys have got various mental health diagnoses. And they have to have alternative housing just because they can't just go out and get an apartment and live there by themselves. They're not equipped. They're not capable of that. This guy probably moved somewhere, become a hoarder, and bury himself in an apartment by himself. He wouldn't know how to handle it. So I'm not saying that he should be able to stay in his parents' house, but I believe that he needs someone to help him. They're telling him to leave immediately. Now, they offered him $1,100 to move. Now, with a little bit of planning, you could probably make that happen. If you had at least a month, I'm sure the judge probably allowed 30 days or something. You can't just ask the person to just throw shit in the streets. But he probably has a hard time functioning. a hard time doing even basic things like having a job. They keep emphasizing that he must work, but if this man is diagnosable, they need to be finding out what services are available to him, and what level he's able to function on. So as a general rule, I think they're mixing the stories up here. Yes, millennials are having a hard time. If I were 20 years old and my parents say, okay, time to go, boy, I could not get up and go in San Francisco. It would mean leaving the state. Excuse my little piggly dog. Go in there, boy. Go in there with your little ding-donger. Go in there, you ding-ding-ding. He wants to snorkel by his dad. My baby's having problems. Okay. Yes, my baby is a dog. It's not a man down there. All right. So I saw the story is totally different. As soon as he opened his mouth, I didn't know what the issue was. He needs to be in some kind of a group situation. Perhaps one agency. There's an agency here called Baker Places, where people who have mental issues, they share a house. There's not a lot of supervision there, but they share things, and that way he can function in that way, and it probably wouldn't cost him more than he was going to pay for an apartment, or a good deal less. He should have find out what's available to him. If he can't work, he can't work. Maybe he's too proud to say that he can't work, or too proud to say what the situation is. And I don't think his boy should be owning guns, to be frank. He owns guns, and he is got to be forced out. And he feels like his parents have evicted him out of the house. I think it would be a dangerous situation. This is what we hear about. Anyway, so God bless you, Michael. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need help. I guess you live upstate New York. It's not impossible. I don't think the rents there are not. They're not like here. As I was saying, if I was 20 years old, I couldn't just move out and get an apartment here. Ain't no way in hell. Apartment here is over $3,000. Maybe I got lucky and I found one for $2,500. Hell, if I ain't had a job, I don't have a job. You have to have a good job to make it here. So I imagine a lot of these millennials are moving when they get to be that age. Or, of course, going to college, something like that. That would be the ideal thing. But they almost have to start off out of state. Anyway, so what else about this thing? They won the court case. I saw not one commentary on this guy's mental state. He's not like a regular healthy person, and I think they're missing that in the story. This kid was just somebody who just deadbeat, wanted to stay home. It'd be different. He probably just he's not ready. He's not ready. He doesn't have the mental capacity to go out, get an apartment, get a job, live on his own, or have some kind of relationship. I don't know what kind of relationship he had, but I'm sure she was the one running things. She would have to be. This guy's not. He's not a regular guy. So I feel for people who have disabilities, but we need to acknowledge that. Not one person acknowledged that. And it only takes talking to him for a few minutes. They all looked at him like they realized, oh, light bulb goes off, This guy's got issues. So say it. If that's the issue, that's the issue. Don't lump him in with, this is the story of the typical new millennials won't leave home and all that. It's not the story. It's a different story. All right, you guys, that's it. Oh, one other thing. In other news, unrelated news, this Donald Trump, this character, is still now, he's insisting on having this vendetta against this guy, Jeff Bezos, who runs Amazon, and also the Washington Post. How I don't understand how America has allowed him to do these blatant things. He's trying to double what Amazon pays in taxes, which has got to be billions of dollars. They're major employers at this point. That's what he said he wanted. Now, I don't know if he wants to acknowledge it or not, or anybody wants to acknowledge it, but Bezos, Amazon, saved the post office life. The post office in 2013, was on life support. I have family members who work at the post office, so I've heard the stories about what condition they were in before Amazon got involved. People are not writing letters. People are not writing letters. It's a fact. That was the post office lifeblood. And anything that any communications, like all your bill people, they're constantly asking you, do you want to go paperless? Do you want to go paperless? They give you the option. You go online, you look up your bank. Your bank wants to know before they even do your transaction, do you want to go paperless? The world's going paperless. So you got to follow the trends. This guy came in with his idea, okay, the post office delivers. We have a company that needs delivery. We're doing too much business to do it by ourselves. Made a deal with the post office. So, of course, they're going to get a break if they save the damn post office. I mean, apparently that's a quarter of all the work that they do now with the post office. So I don't know all the details about, how much taxes they're paying but that's not President's, this dude's, Trump. He shouldn't be involved in that because he has a vendetta against these people. Or because he hates the Washington Post. Which Washington Post, New York Times, they've made a major turnaround. So things change. Things change. But let's not run Bezos off where he said, well, I'll just do it with UPS. I'll just do it with we'll find other alternatives. Certainly he's got enough money to do it any way he wants to do it. But he stepped in there, and however you feel about it, about how much money he makes, he saved that post office. They were going over a cliff. My 3 pennies on that. All right, people. Talk to you later. Let me see. I lost my thing here. There.